Hello, this is Father David, here with day 30 of Great Lent 2023. Today's meditation is once again a return to Proto-Presbyter Thomas Hopko's book, The Lenten Spring. And this meditation today is about mercy. And there is, within this book, a chapter called Lord Have Mercy. And it is a chapter wherein he talks about, how Orthodox will say this. I mean, it's the refrain. We say it over and over and over in our services. And I always think when we talk about mercy, about the misunderstanding, I think that it's easy to make. We shouldn't be too hard on people if they're new to the Orthodox faith, or even if they're not and they've grown up in the Orthodox faith and all they've ever heard their whole life is Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy. And they have in their minds, sort of stern, unyielding God who's got his hands on his hips and tapping his foot, and we're just begging him over and over, please don't hurt me, please have mercy, please don't burn me in hell, and we're trying to talk him down. Maybe we send his mother after him to calm down an angry God. It can very well be a misinterpretation of what we're doing. And this is why it's important, on the one hand, sometimes to think about the words that we're using in the church. Sometimes translations will adapt and change with the passing of the centuries when words take on a different meaning. I think most of us might be familiar with the schoolyard game of mercy, where boys, usually boys, but I knew a couple of girls who could hold their own. They'd come up and lock hands with each other like this and push. And they would push and try to push the other person's hands back. And your hands would be like this, and all of a sudden it would be so painful that whoever would yell out mercy would lose. And this, I think, is really for many people something like this is what they think of when they hear Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy. Father Tom has a very different view here. And, of course, would say the Orthodox way of looking at this, that if we will, this constant refrain takes on a different meaning. So our meditation today, he says, having mercy is God's most distinguishing characteristic. Pouring out his mercy, his steadfast love upon his covenanted people is his main occupation. Mercy is at the heart of everything. Mercy is at the heart, of everything that God is and does and gives to his people. It is the people's most treasured possession. The Psalms, for example, describe the steadfast love of the Lord, which is the mercy of our prayer, in numberless ways. The steadfast love of the Lord is from everlasting and endures forever. It is higher and greater than the heavens, yet the earth is full of this steadfast love, and it extends to the heavens. So this, of course, is a very different view from any kind of stern disciplinarian that we're begging to not punish us or hurt us. And again, usually when we hear stories in the gospel, there is that aspect of the servant who owed a king a certain amount of money, and he said, have mercy on me and I will pay you back. In other words, you've got me dead to rights. I'm guilty, and it is within your power to punish me. But please have mercy and do not give me what I deserve. There is that aspect of mercy. And there is that aspect of things within our own lives. But we have to understand that God is not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. So what are we also doing? Well, if I could throw in a bit of Spanish, and Spanish, of course, is not the only, I'm fluent in Spanish, and so I do some work in the church with the Spanish language. The phrase, Lord, have mercy, is Señor, Lord, ten, have piedad, which doesn't sound like misericordia, which is another word for mercy, but piedad, directly related to the word for pity. Look upon me, Lord. I'm poor. I am weak. I am humbled by my own imperfection and need. I am here recognizing my need for you. I am not self-sufficient. I am a beggar, spiritually speaking, on the side of the road. Have pity upon me. This is why almsgiving, it's a long story, but it's related to the word in Greek for mercy. And they used to indeed be called acts of mercy. Seeing a person who, for whatever reason, is in need. Perhaps it's its own fault. Perhaps it's not. Perhaps it's a combination of the two. But asking for mercy and providing mercy freely. You have no reason to punish this person. It doesn't have anything to do with you. But the beggar comes to you in his need and asks you, who are able to perform an act of mercy, to have mercy on him, to have pity on him. This is what we're asking. Lord, have pity on me, a miserable sinner, you who are good and love mankind. For if I do not have your act of mercy, if I do not have your pity, I'm lost. And let us understand that this aspect is the overriding, overarching aspect. God has his justice, but his justice is always tied to mercifully easing our pain and our sickness and making us whole as we need to be. If we hate it and run from it or try to, that is not God but us. He will not allow us to run forever. He will correct us regardless. May we see him now as the one who mercifully gives pity and helps and aids his sick creatures out of goodness and love for mankind. So God bless you. Lord willing, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.